You're about to listen to the most informative, persuasive, and inspiring show in America, the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. Folks, happy Tuesday. I'm sorry to be so late in my forthcoming of this. Pardon me today. Did not feel like podcasting. But I'm coming forth to talk about one more final time about the Third Amendment. Why was it enacted? Of course, I know I've talked about this in the past episode, but, it is important to bring this up. And then from here on out, we will talk about the Fourth Amendment. Okay. So, with that, we are going to talk about why. It's easy to see why. Because the Founding Fathers didn't want American civilization to have to put up with quartering soldiers that could possibly compel them to do something that is against their will. Now, how does the Third Amendment, I feel, apply to this current border situation? Well, I'm going to give you my opinion. Of course, I'm not a constitutional lawyer. There was a time when I desperately wanted to be a constitutional lawyer. But, I'm not going to go into the particulars about what happened that prevented that, okay? Because that would be reactive. I don't think it is right for the federal government to sell its sovereignty to the highest bidder and expect states to comply with that, especially since those states are bordered by other countries. And I don't care whether it's Canada or Mexico. Okay? I'm simply talking about things constitutional. I'm not getting condemnatory. I'm not doing any reactive, degenerate talk. There's plenty of that going around. And although I love President Trump, I feel like in some ways in his tactics, he's using scare tactics to rah base. And while I can get that, while I can understand that, this is why I think I would make a very poor politician. Even though there's times I think about running because of all the, all the crap that's going on in this country. There was a time I wanted a seat in Congress. I was a Republican back then, and I wanted to sit alongside my fellow Republicans. But as you see with this current immigration bill, there's going to be a lot of give and take. But back to the Third Amendment. The border of Texas, I don't know if you guys realize this. There is some private property along parts of that border. And yet the federal government is playing with fire. Now, we'll talk about this more in March, when we cover the Fifth and Sixth Amendments, okay? Because the Fifth Amendment deals where, the federal government cannot deprive life, liberty, or property. And that's something that we've been dealing with, we've been wrestling with for, decades. I say at least 6 decades since our civilization fell apart. But I think the Third Amendment can be applied to federal sovereignty, state sovereignty, and even the free will of the American people. And these liberals, they're making their plan for immigration or whatever policy to look just so wonderful. I'm going to be just as honest with you as I can. It isn't working. Just last week, authorities stopped a busload of fentanyl coming in across the border. How's that the same thing? Because we're allowing that. We're allowing our sovereignty to be sold to the highest bidders. That being said, I'm not here to scare you guys. In fact, to be honest with you, I'd much rather not talk anymore about the Third Amendment right now. I want to be someone that can bring you guys a little faith, a little peace, love, and hope. See, one thing that is a premise of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership, and people who've been listening to me know for a while know this. I believe wholeheartedly, and you should too, that our hope is in Christ, okay? It should not be in the people, and it should not be in the people of our government. My thesis is, if we're looking for some man to be a political messiah, when the country's down the hill, can I tell you something? You're living a pipe dream. I kind of want to say, hey, what are you doing? You smoking crack? You injecting brown? Come on, wake up. And you're like, Jimmy, how do you know street words like that? Folks, I know streets from 9 months in Central Arlington. What I'm saying is you've got to be loony as all get out if you're expecting one man outside of Jesus Christ to be a political Messiah. And why? Because man is faulty. Romans 3:23, for all have sinned and come short of the glory of God. I love Trump, and I support him. And not this month, but maybe next month I'll talk about why I support him. But it all depends on what's going on the schedule of the show. Because quite frankly, I don't want to talk about the news all the time. It's enough to get somebody's blood pressure to shoot up. We got enough of that as it is. People with blood pressure and people with heart trouble. And part of it is, I think, because we got news media and politicians on both sides of the aisle that just love to scare their base. It ain't about truth anymore, guys. It hasn't been for years. I was doing some research about what it could take to be a freelance speechwriter. I just Google that. And Google said something like, well, become a journalist first. Hey, I studied journalism. So many of those people, they're not interested in reporting the truth. It's all, if it bleeds, it leads. And sex sells. And while I agree that they have a right to free press, that shouldn't be inhibited. But I honestly believed years ago the press had a lot more integrity. But it's not working that way. Guys, I can tell you how I feel about this. But I feel like I've said enough. And so tomorrow we're going to have a regular news day. I may decide about to talk about the news. Then again, I feel so saturated, I may not. We'll see. Hope you enjoy listening to the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership. If you like what you hear, please subscribe. Become a part of the James A. Hendricks School of Leadership classroom. Until next time, keep up your faith. Keep up your hope. I say this every day to self-soothe if I need to. Jesus saves and I'm okay. So therefore I want you to put this down in your soul right now. Jesus saves and we're all going to be okay. Take care and be proactively informed. And remember this, from the bottom of my heart, Jenny loves you. I really, really, really love you. God bless you and have a blessed day. See you tomorrow.